difficult to teach the teachers because they are already aware, sensitized, and more updated. But anyways, I'll try my level best to deliver you the session on discriminant analysis. So my topic or my the session is on the discriminant analysis. So the learning outcome of the session is that understand the concept of discriminant analysis, number one. In the next 50 minutes, I'm going to make you understand that where do we use discriminant analysis and why do we use discriminant analysis and how do we use discriminant analysis. These are the three important concepts which I'm going to tell you. Then ability to generate SPSS sheet as per the requirements of discriminant analysis, because of course I'm going to give you a hands-on experience of discriminant analysis through SPSS. So that is the second outcome. And third outcome is ability to execute and interpret the discriminant analysis with SPSS. That is very, very important. Once you understood the concept and you came to know what is the process that to be followed in SPSS, but the most important that you should know that how to interpret and how to execute the discriminant analysis with SPSS. So first of all, as you have just told me, you have completed the factor analysis and madam has told me that you have done the parametric analysis, parametric test and non-parametric test. Now I would likely to take one small quiz test from you, very small quiz. It's not a quiz, it's a kind of a critical question which I would say. Let me ask you one question. Suppose if your independent variable is 1 and your dependent variable is 1, and both the variables are metric and metric. May I know which of the technique would you apply? Can anybody tell me the answer? How many participants are there? Let me see, because yeah, so there are 24 participants. May I know what I have asked the questions? Please tell me. If there is if my independent variable is metric and dependent variable is metric. Metric means the ratio data or the interval data. Let's say, for example, sales and advertisements. Sales is a metric data and advertisement is a metric data, because advertisement is in rupees. The expenses which I have done on TV advertisement or radio advertisement, and ultimately I am going to study the say, for example, the impact of advertisement on sales. So both the data is metric data, that is my independent variable and dependent variables. May I know which of the technique would you apply? Can anybody please help me? Because I'm teaching to the teachers and it's my proud privilege that so fantastic doctorates and faculties are sitting with me. So it's my proud privilege that you try it. You I'll be happy that if you just think and just tell me. It may be wrong. I don't mind, because we all are the learning. We all are learners and we are all our teachers. So no need. You just tell me what is the tool or technique which you will apply when your dependent variable is metric and independent variable is metric. Urvashi ma'am, can you hear me? My question is clear. Hello.
Yes sir, your voice and your question is clear.
है ना, मेरा question आपको clear है ना? कहीं ऐसा ना हो कि there should be a communication gap. Is my communication fit? I mean, am I
yes.
My voice modulation is clear. I think
yes,
there should not be any gap. Okay. So may I know the technique which you will apply when you have the data, metric data, and the dependent variable is metric and independent variable is metric? I think not clear. Okay. So let me tell you, my dear student, my dear professors, I tell you that the technique which you will apply, the technique which you are going to apply is the regression. Madam has just told me that regression has been done by the has been taught and you have all done. So whenever your independent variable is metric and dependent variable is metric, the technique which you apply is regression. So in this box, please, you can note down here, regression will be applied. Simple linear regression, SLR, simple linear regression. Any question you have, please ask me. I want some interactive session so that you should know. Metric and metric data, you will be going to apply the...
Sir, also we have apply here design metric also.
Which one?
Design metrics also apply here.
Design metrics. Can you tell me what is design metrics?
The design matrix name and design matrix and model matrix name is regression matrix.
Regression you can apply. Yes, absolutely right. Absolutely right. Wonderful. I'll give a big hand to you. Very nice. Very nice. Great. And now, next question. This table is quite meaningful for you to make you whenever you will find that any situation that you would likely to know that which of the techniques should be applied. So this particular table would help you. Now you can please write here regression. Okay, regression. Simple regression. But if your independent variable is non-metric and your dependent variable is metric, okay, like for example, I tell you one good example of say the significant difference of age on smartphone purchase. Okay, smartphone purchase preference. So now the age or the gender is the non-metric. Okay, if you would like me to know the significant difference of gender on the smartphone purchase. Now, smartphone purchase is a metric data, that is our dependent variable, but the non-metric data, which is independent variable, that is the gender, that is called male, female, or transgender. Whenever you have the independent variable is categorical, please note down, whenever your independent variable is categorical, that is the male, female, or transgender, and you are going to study the difference of these gender on the smartphone purchase, okay, then means smartphone purchase is a metric data, then you can apply the hypothesis testing. You can apply the hypothesis testing, which is called the parametric test. Parametric test here you can apply, that is compare means or hypothesis testing. So you just write here, you just fill the box here, hypothesis testing. Hypothesis testing, okay. But now I am going to teach you the discriminant analysis. Now the question arises, where do we apply discriminant analysis? As I have told you, simple linear regression, where the metric and metric data is there. And moreover, I have just told you the non-metric, if the data is independent variable is non-metric and dependent variable is metric, suppose for example, gender and the smartphone purchase, or you can say the, say for example, there are so many examples of, say for example, the gender and the you can say the what we can say the preference of car, smartphone, whatever you can say, okay. So that is our metric data, okay. So then you are going to apply is the hypothesis testing, or you can go with the one-way ANOVA, or you can go with the independent sample t-test in this particular box where I'm writing here. Please note down here, please note down right here, independent sample t-test oblique one-way ANOVA, okay, or okay, that you can apply in this box. But now come to the discriminant analysis. But discriminant analysis is applied when your independent variable is metric. Please note down, when your independent variable is metric and the dependent variable is non-metric. When your dependent variable is non-metric and independent variable is metric, then we are going to apply the discriminant analysis. Please note down right here, discriminant analysis. Right in this box, discriminant analysis. I'll give you many examples of discriminant analysis. Just try to write. For example, I am the university professor, okay, and I am into the admission department, and I would likely to you see the predict, or I would likely to discriminate whether the student is eligible for admission or not. whether the student is eligible for admission or not. Now, eligible or not eligible, that is a categorical data which is called non-metric, But the CGPA, or you can say the marks of the student, that is a metric data. Okay, so I am going to discriminate the student eligibility based on his attendance, based on his CGPA, based on his you can say performance. I am going to discriminate whether the candidate is eligible for admission or not. So here I am going to apply the technique which is called the discriminant analysis. Please note down, in this particular box, you are going to fill the discriminant analysis. Now let us understand in detail. That what is discriminant analysis. So just note down, please just note down that discriminant analysis is a technique. It is a multivariate technique which you are going to apply in the field of research, where you are going to discriminate the categorical variables, okay, categorical variables based on the, based on the metric data, based on the ratio data, interval data. Those type of data are called the metric data, okay, and the categorical data is called the non-metric data. Okay, first of all, these terminologies must be clear before to go with the. So please note down, this is the answer which I have shown you. So this is the table which I have completed for you. When there is a metric, just close your eyes and apply the simple regression method. Whenever there is independent variable is non-metric and metric, go for hypothesis testing, which is called the parametric test and non-parametric test. Please note down, as Madam Urvashi has just told me that parametric, non-parametric has been little bit done. So please note down, this is something called parametric and non-parametric test. Hypothesis testings are the parametric test, okay? And these are non-parametric tests. Cross tabulation, chi-square test is a non-parametric test. Here is a parametric, here is non-parametric, and discriminant analysis would be applied when your independent variable is metric and non-metric is your dependent variable. Please, you can click on take the screenshot of this slide, because this would help you a lot whenever you are in a dilemma to know which of the technique would be applied. Yes, I think somebody has given in the chat box. Screen not visible? Screen is visible, I think. Urvashi ma'am, screen is visible now?
Yes, sir, screen is visible.
Screen is visible. Okay now. It's okay. All right. Now let us go to the discriminant analysis. Yeah. Please note that there is a difference between regression and discriminant analysis. Why I'm trying to tell you? Because there is a very important to know the difference between regression and discriminant analysis when you are going to execute both the techniques. In the regression, we are going to study first the correlation, which is called R in the statistics terms and is called correlation coefficient. But in discriminant analysis, we find the correlation with the help of ANOVA, okay, analysis of variance. And in the assumptions, in the regression assumptions, there are so many assumptions which are used in regression. But in the discriminant analysis, please note down that the assumption is that equality of variance should be there. Equality of variance should be there. Equality of variance can be checked through covariance metrics. We apply covariance metrics in the system in SPSS in order to check whether the equality of variance is there or not. So this is the assumption, very important assumption of discriminant analysis. Then the performance of regression. I think you might have studied from a faculty of those who have taught you the regression. They might have guided you that R-square and adjusted R-square, through that you can take the performance of the regression. But the discriminant analysis, the performance of the discriminant analysis can be done through Wilks lambda, eigenvalue, and classification results. I will let you know when I will give you the hands-on experience of SPSS. You will come to know. Don't worry. And equation, we derive regression equation like y is equal to ax plus b. Okay. Similarly, y is equal to a plus bx1 plus bx2. This is a regression equation. You know it. Similarly, we also derive the discriminant equation. okay, in the discriminant analysis. The regression independent variables comparison can be done through beta, the indicator we use in the regression, but in the discriminant analysis, we use the method which is called the standardized canonical discriminant function coefficients and structure metrics. One by one, I will show you through SPSS all these tables: ANOVA, equality of variance, Wills lambda, eigen classification, discriminant equation, standardized canonical discriminant function coefficient, and structure metrics. Don't worry, one by one I'll let you know. But basically, I was about to tell you the basic difference between regression and discriminant analysis. Now, first of all, let me take you the discriminant analysis menu in SPSS. What is there is that I am taking one example of State Bank of India. Okay, let's say there is a bank. The application of discriminant analysis. मान लीजिए there is one bank which is called State Bank of India, and State Bank of India is going to issue the credit cards to the customers. Okay? But you know that when the bank is going to issue the credit cards, the bank issues the credit cards on the basis of certain parameters. Those parameters can be age, those parameters can be income, those parameters can be marriage since year of marriage, and that parameters can be your CIBIL score. Okay, let's say these are the 4 important parameters, and on the basis of that, the bank is interested to discriminate. The bank is interested to discriminate low risk profile customer and high risk profile customer. I think this is a quite beautiful example of discriminant analysis. Why? Because the non-metric data is high risk and low risk, whereas the metric data is your age, income, year since marriage, and CIBIL score. That is your metric data. So as I told you, as I've just shown you in the table also, that the discriminant analysis is used when the independent variable is your metric data and your dependent variable is non-metric. So in this particular example, which I am just telling you about SBI, the low risk and high risk customers, they are the non-metric data, which is dependent variable, and age, income, year since marriage, that is called the metric data, which is called the independent variables. So I'll be showing you I'm just showing you the SPSS slides here so that you could be able to apply the technique thoroughly, properly. So just give me 1 minute. I'll just show you the whole presentation. But before that, you should know this. Okay, this is the first window which is going to open, where I am going to grouping variable. Grouping variable means your factor variable, your categorical variable. Like for example, in this particular example of State Bank of India, you know that I am going to discriminate the high risk customer and the low risk customer. So high risk and low risk customer would come under the grouping variable. And your independents are all your metric data, that is age, monthly income, number of years of marriage, they will come here. And then you will click on the statistics. In the statistics, you will come to know the grouping variables, where you are going to group the variables of risk. Risk means high risk and low risk. So you are going to define the range. Define the range in SPSS. 1 means high risk, or 1 means low risk, or 2 means high risk. Okay. And then you are going to click on the OK. And once it is done, you will be opening this kind of table. One is this type of, once you have done risk means 1 means low risk, 2 means high risk. Then you are going to, then you will see this window, discriminant analysis statistics. Now here you are going to put a tick on the means, univariate ANOVA. As I have just told you the difference between regression and ANOVA. So here we are going to study the regression through univariate ANOVA. Okay. And box M. Box M is used to know whether the model is fit or not. Please note down. Box M, we will check whether the model is fit, and we are going to know whether the correlation with the covariance exists or not, equality of variance exists or not. And then you are going to see the coefficients, where you can click on the features and unstandardized coefficients. Features and unstandardized coefficient, you are going to click on these links. Please, you can click on these links, and then what you will do, you will be having this type of classification table will open. where you are going to click on the summary table and compute from group sizes. Compute from group sizes, you are going to take the prior probabilities while executing the discriminant analysis. Why from the group sizes? Because, for example, let's say there are 80 customers and 40 are low profile and 40 are high risk customers. So we are not going to divide into equal groups like 40-40, but we are going to compute from the group sizes, actual group sizes. Like there may be a 60 low profile or 20 high profile, high risk profile. So this way we are going to give the instruction to the SPSS to compute from group sizes, and here we are going to display the output in the summary table. And covariance matrix, we are going to take the within groups matrix, covariance matrix. And once it is done, then you will look at this closely. You can see here within group matrix covariance, you can check through box M. So this way you can click on univariate, box M, features, unstandardized. Even you can click on mean also, summary table, within groups, all groups equal. Means these are the important parameters which you are going to choose while executing the discriminant analysis. Okay, once it is done, you will get the output. The first output, you will get the eigenvalue.
Excuse me, sir.
Hi, yeah, please. I'm happy to seek your questions, please. Yes, please tell me.
I am unable to see your SPSS screen, sir. Okay, it's now.
I have not opened SPSS screen yet.
Okay.
I'm just briefing you as of now from the presentation. Then after I'll give you the demonstration through SPSS. Is that clear? Please. So you will be getting the outputs. Number one, you will get the eigenvalue table. Please note down, for the simplification, I have told you very easily, higher the eigenvalue is better. Means eigenvalue should be more than 1. Okay, so this is the output file. I'm sharing right now the output file, that what is the output of the after executing the discriminant function. You will get one table which is called eigenvalue. So eigenvalue should be greater than 1. If it is greater than 1, it means the model is better. Second is the Wilks lambda. Wilks lambda value should be close to 0. It should be close to 0. So that is why I have written lower Wilks lambda is better. Okay, if your eigenvalue is low or Wilks lambda is high, it means your analysis is wrong. You are not going to discriminate the output. You are not going to discriminate the categories properly. Okay, so for that you need to have higher eigenvalue, number one, and you need to have a lower Wilks lambda, which is better. So one thing is very clear after this fundamental concept, that this is a technique where you are going to analyze the data when the dependent variable is categorical and the independent variables are interval in nature. Interval means your Likert scale or your ratio data in nature. And technique described by the number of categories possessed by the dependent variable, and when dependent variable has 2 categories, then we apply the 2-group discriminant analysis. But today we are going to do 2-group discriminant analysis because we have the 2 different categories. One is the high risk customers and the second category is the low risk customers. That is called the 2-group discriminant analysis. And whenever there are 3 or more categories are involved, it is called the multi-discriminant analysis. Then it is called the multi-discriminant analysis. So we are now going to do with the 2-group discriminant analysis, where there are the 2 categories. One is the high risk customer and second one is the low risk customers. Now, I think I have just already discussed you. Now I am telling you what is the application of discriminant analysis and marketing. There are so many questions you are coming into your mind. Sir is giving me only one example of SBI and high risk customer and low risk customer. What are the other examples where we can apply the discriminant analysis? I have given you 4 different examples. Number one, first example can be in terms of the demographic characteristics. How do customers who exhibit store loyalty differ from those who do not? For example, I have a retail store and I'm going to exhibit, I'm going to discriminate my customers into two categories, one who are loyal and one who are not loyal. Okay, based on the demographic category characteristics, then I can go for the discriminant analysis. Second example could be, do heavy, medium, and light users of soft drinks differs in terms of their consumption of frozen foods? For example, let's say there are three different categories. One is heavy user, medium user, and light users. Okay, these are the three categories of soft drink users, and I'm going to discriminate these categories of soft drink users on the basis of consumption of frozen foods, on the basis of the consumption of frozen foods. So in that particular example also I can go for the discriminant analysis. Number 3 example, which I have taken from the very application in the industry, that what psychographic characteristics that help differentiate between price sensitive and non-price sensitive buyers of groceries. Yes, suppose I'm a grocery store. I'm having a grocery store and I'm giving a project to my research students, and my research students, I'm asking to my research students, okay, you just do the project in this grocery store and try to differentiate the type of customer that is price sensitive and non-price sensitive buyers based on the psychographic characteristics. Based on the psychographic characteristics. So again, I can go with the discriminant analysis. And number 4 example which I have quoted for discriminant analysis is, do the various market segments differ in their media consumption habits? So that is also called the, I can go for the discriminant analysis. Now, my one question to the participants. Now there is an open for 5 minutes. I'm asking you, please. Can you please give me one example of discriminant analysis out of these examples? Means you are not going to use these examples. I would likely to ask from you, can you give me any example which you think that, okay, there in this example we can go with the discriminant analysis? Please, over to you. Over to you. I'm giving you 2 to 3 minutes. Just derive an example. Create an example where you can apply discriminant analysis. Yes, please. Try it. Just it's nothing to go with the right and wrong, but we will let's understand how we can execute the example. May I know the example from you, from where we can apply the discriminant analysis? Very nice, Harish Joshi. Fantastic example you have mentioned here, in that doctors could perform a discriminant analysis to identify patients at high or low risk for stroke. Yes, absolutely. You can also apply this example for COVID-19 patients. COVID-19 patients to discriminate, the patients that is high risk, high corona patients, high corona risk patients, and low corona risk patients. And I'm writing here low corona risk patients, okay, on the basis of antibodies, blood pressure, and the age. Now you can see here age. Please try to understand age, BP, and antibodies. Antibodies means number of antibodies. These are the metric data. That is metric data. And the high risk and low risk corona patient, okay, that is called the non-metric data. Very fantastic, wonderful. And here I think I can go with the discriminant analysis. Can anybody please write in the chat box yes or no? Other participants, can you please write in the chat box yes or no? Is this example perfect or not? Professor Harish has also done very good example that yes, doctor could perform a discriminant analysis to identify patients. But I have converted this example with the corona so that you could be able to, correlate this example wonderfully, because as since corona is about to end and we can come to know this low corona risk patients. And we can also take in advance, I can also take, say government of India asked me, okay, whether which of the patient is eligible for COVID vaccine and which of the patient is not eligible for COVID vaccine. I think in that case also, I can apply a discriminant analysis. Even in that case also, I can apply a discriminant analysis. Am I right or wrong? Based on the, the various parameters, based on the parameters. So that is called the antibodies. Now PDS system. अभी क्या होता है PDS system क्या होता है जैसे public distribution system है government क्या करती है government is giving free ration to the yellow cards to the BPL families. Now how can I determine whether that family is a BPL or not a BPL family? How can I determine? I can go for discriminant analysis. I think I can apply discriminant analysis based on the certain parameter, that is metric parameters, and I am going to classify the family, whether that family is a BPL family or whether that family is a below poverty line or above poverty line. So I think that is also one good example of discriminant analysis. Okay, which of the flavor should I kept in my showroom? Which of the ice cream flavor should I kept in my ice cream parlor? Should I keep the butterscotch, flavor, or should I keep the strawberry flavor of ice cream in my, ice cream parlor? So also I can go with the discriminant analysis here also based on the age, income, or occupation. Like on that basis, I can discriminate the flavor of ice cream. Yes or no? Can you please chat in the box that are we in the talking terms? Are we able to now came to know the concept of discriminant analysis and why discriminant analysis used and what are the application of discriminant analysis? Yes, please. Can anybody please write in the chat box so that I would be in a confident position that okay, we are in talking terms, and hopefully you are getting that what is the application of discriminant analysis. Yeah, I'm waiting for your replies, because understanding is more important, application is more important, instead of I just keep on telling you the things. So yeah, Dr. Banwari Lal, Dr. Harish, Dr. Kuldeep, Dr. Chaman, I hope it's clear to you. All right, okay, fine, that's great, that's great. Now, once it is clear to you, now it is also called logit analysis. Please note this thing also. This is also called logit analysis. And the one thing which is I have told you the difference between ANOVA and discriminant is that in ANOVA we have one dependent variable. Similarly, discriminant is also having one dependent variable. And in ANOVA we have independent variable multiple. Similarly, in discriminant we have the multiple independent variable, but the dependent variable in case of ANOVA is metric, whereas in case of discriminant analysis the dependent variable is categorical and binary, like high risk and low risk. Okay, so and nature of independent variable is in case of ANOVA it is categorical, in case of discriminant analysis it is metric. I always tell my student when somebody asks me, sir, what is the difference between ANOVA and discriminant? I always tell them reverse them. How they reverse them? Like for example, in ANOVA, your dependent variable is metric and independent variable is non-metric. But in case of discriminant analysis, it is vice versa. Vice versa means that your independent variable is metric and dependent variable is non-metric. So I think this way you would be able to easily come to know okay, whether I should go with the discriminant analysis or whether I should go with the ANOVA. Okay. Now let us take an example. Suppose State Bank of India wants to start credit card division and the bank wants to set up a system to screen applicants and classify them as either low risk or high risk based on the information collected from the customer's application form. And they manage the data from SBI. Okay, somewhere they have managed the data, and they have the different variables, that is age, income, year of marriage. And we are going to study that whether they are relatively better in discriminating between low and high risk applicants. So how can we classify? How can we classify? So I am going to now open the SPSS with you people. Now please tell me whether SPSS is being able to, you are able to see or not. I'm sharing the screen.
No, sir.
Just wait, just a wait, just a wait. It is opening. Give me a moment. Okay. Now I'm going to share the SPSS with you. Yeah, is the screen visible to you now? Is the SPSS screen?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. So this is data view, and this is variable view. I think you already have discussed in the previous sessions also. So I'm not going to have certain files in the downloads. So you can keep in your desktop, wherever you would like to keep. So actually I have certain files in the downloads file. Yeah. So here I'll be taking the file that is called the SBI. Just a moment. The file is give me a moment. Yeah, got it. Go in file, open desktop data, and in the desktop I have written the FDP factor. This is the file, discriminant bank underscore credit card dot SAV. So now the file is open to you. Yes, is the file visible to you? Please tell me. Is the screen visible to you?
No, sir.
Not visible? How is it possible?
Not.
Just wait. Just a moment. Just a moment. Okay. Now tell me. Is it visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Now please listen very carefully. The same example which I was mentioning about the SBI credit card. So you are a banker, and the government of State Bank of India has given you the project to issue credit card or not to issue the credit cards. And you have certain information, the age of the people, income of the people, and years since marriage. And you are going to discriminate between risk, and one means low risk, two means high risk. You can see here also. One means low risk and two means high risk. Okay. You are going to differentiate whether the person is eligible for credit card or not. Okay. This is what you are going to do. You are going to ascertain whether the customer is eligible for credit card or not. So what we can do, we can straight away going to apply the discriminant analysis. So what is the step? Please note down the step. Go to analyze. Go to analyze. And then you will go to the classify. Go to the step number 2, classify. Go to analyze. Please note down the steps. Analyze, classify. In the classify, you will be coming to know here discriminant. you will know in the drop down menu, it is written the discriminant. Click on it. Once you click on discriminant analysis, this box will open. So this is called grouping variable. Grouping variable means categorical variable, your non-metric data. Grouping is non-metric factor, so you are going to take risk over the grouping variable. Now this is risk you have taken 1 and 2. 1 and 2 means you are going to define the range. Minimum is 1 and maximum is 2. Continue. Once it is done, grouping variable is created. Now you are going to take your age, monthly income and year since marriage into the independent variable, because this is your metric data. Okay. Once it is done, then I have told you to click on statistics. You click on statistics and you will open this type of box which is mentioned discriminant analysis statistics. So here you are going to check the means. Mean means average. Okay. And you can click on univariate ANOVA and box M to see the covariance. Equality of variance can be checked through box M. And you need an unstandardized coefficient. Function coefficients, you can click on unstandardized coefficients. Continue. Okay, continue. And then you are going to go with the groups, this one. Classify. In the classify, you are going to classification, you are going to check on the compute from group sizes. Compute from group sizes. Group sizes means it's not like that if there are 8 respondent, 16, 18 respondent, if you click on here, then what will the algorithm, the system will check 9 low risk and 9 high risk. But you are going to give the command that compute from group sizes. Whatever the group size is there in the data set. So you are giving the command to the SPSS that, okay, you compute from group sizes and click on the summary table. And here is the covariance matrix, that is the within groups, you are going to see the covariance, equality of variance should be there. And then you are going to click on continue. And once it is continue, and then click on the OK. Once you click on the OK, dear student, you will get, let me just, again, I have to stop the presentation because I have not shared with you professors this complete screen. So let me open the output. Yes, output file I am sharing right now. Are you able to see the output file? Please tell me yes or no. Yes, professors. Are you able to see the output file?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry if sometimes student is coming to my mind because, you know, teacher has get the habit of saying students, very sorry. You people are quite qualified persons sitting in front of me. I'm rather privileged to guide you, to tell you whatever I know. So this is a first table, which is called the analysis case processing summary. Okay. This table shows you whether any missing value is there or not in the data. So we should be happy that because there is no missing value. There is no missing value in the data. There are 18 numbers of respondents. So we are now 100%. This first table will only tell you whether there is any missing value or not. Now the next table is the group statistics. In the group statistics, we are able to know about the mean standard deviation of each category, that is low risk and high risk. And within these low risk, what is the mean average of age? What is the mean average of monthly income? What is the mean average of year since marriage? What is the mean average of age in the high risk category? What is the mean average of monthly income in the high risk? And what is the mean average of the year since married in the high risk? Similarly, we will get the standard deviation. Okay. So once this table is clear to you, now we are going to use the, that is very, very important table, which is called the, you can click on the, yes, we are going to see the summary of canonical discriminant functions. Summary of canonical discriminant functions. Please note down the tables which you are going to see. Number 1, analysis case processing summary. First table, you are going to take the output. Right click, copy and paste on your research project, where whatever you are doing. Okay, copy and paste it. Second is the group statistics. And third is the summary of canonical discriminant function. Now you can see the eigenvalue is 2.136a. This is A. A means, what is this A? A means first one canonical discriminant functions were used in the analysis. Okay, A means first one canonical discriminant functions were used in the analysis. So eigenvalue, as I mentioned you in my presentation, that eigenvalue should be greater than 1. If it is greater than 1, it means the better the performance of this model. So it's fantastic that we are getting 2.136, which is greater than 1. So I think this indicator is perfectly fit for discriminant. Second, I have told you to see the Wilks lambda value, and the Wilks lambda value should be close to 0. And we are again quite confident that our value is 0.3, which is very close to 0. So I think there is a better discriminating power of this model. Now, third is we are having the standardized canonical discriminant function coefficient. Coefficient means that the correlations that you are getting: age in 0.924, monthly income 0.775, years since marriage is 1.151. So from the coefficients, you are able to come to know which of the coefficient is having more, which of the variable is having more important. Like for example, here in this case, 0.775, 0.924, and 0.151. So 0.92, we are having the age coefficient, which is quite high than these two. Then 0.77, then second number is monthly income, and in the third is the year since marriage. This is the least value we got, 0.151. So from the coefficients, you can take the decision that which of the variable is very important, which of the variable coefficient, which of the variable is very important, independent variable is important, that is age, monthly income, or year since marriage. Now next, after that, we are getting the canonical discriminant function coefficient, from where we are going to drive the equation. Now here we are going to drive the equation like y is equal to a plus bx1 plus bx2. For example, y means our dependent variable and a is our constant, that is minus 10.003 plus 0.246 into age plus 0.000 into monthly income plus 0.085 into years since marriage. This is the discriminant equation that we will drive from this function coefficient, which is called canonical discriminant function coefficient. And the next output table shows me if your y is negative, okay, once you calculate if your y is negative, it means your high risk customer is there, so you are not going to issue him a credit card. But if your y is positive, then you are going to issue him a credit card, because that profile of the customer is a low risk customer. And finally, you are going to see after this, you are not going to take all these tables. Last is the classification results. Classification results means how much this model is able to predict well, because discriminant is also called logit analysis, it is also called classification analysis, it is also called prediction analysis. Whether this particular model which we have just done, the discrimination between the high risk customer and the low risk customer, whether this model is quite performance is 100% in classification, now we are able to see here. Now once you look at this classification result, please note down this A means 94.4% of original group cases are correctly classified, whereas the 15.6% are not correctly classified. Now how can we come to know? We can also see here also. Look at the diagonal wise. Your observed low risk is also 9 and your predicted low risk is also 9. Means this SPSS classified this low risk very accurately. That is 9. Similarly, high risk is also accurately predicted and classified, that is 8. But this 0 and 1 is wrongly classified. These are wrongly classified. Why? Because the observed risk of default was high risk, but actually the algorithm, what the SPSS once when it is run, it is showing this customer as a low risk, but actually it is a high risk. on the observation. So that is why we can say that 94.4% of the original grouped cases are correctly classified in this particular data, particularly in this example. So this is how you are going to execute the discriminant analysis, and once it is executed, you just copy and paste it on the Word file. Okay, you can click on the Word file and paste it on the wherever your thesis or your project, your research article, your article what you are writing. So there in this way you can go with the discriminant analysis. Yes, may I know anything else you would likely to ask, any question you have? Otherwise, I have one more example with you, which if you would likely to do at your own right now, I can share that example with you also. Let me open the file, just a moment. Yeah, there is a wool file. I'm opening here. Just a moment, give me 1 minute. I'm again sharing the screen with a new data set. Yes, let me stop the presenting, and I'm again sharing one more screen with you so that you could have a fair idea with next example. This is one file which I'm sharing, is a wool file. Wool means there is a wool company. There is a wool company is there, and the company would likely to, just a moment. Yes, there is a wool company, and the company would likely to categorize, to discriminate the buyer into two categories. One is buyer and non-buyer. Okay, the wool owner, the wool manufacturer is interested to determine, is interested to predict the status of the consumer, whether he is buyer or non-buyer, based on the parameters of, based on the durability, light, low investment, and rust resistance. So these are the metric data, and this is your non-metric data. And on the basis of this, the owner is interested to discriminate the status of the consumer, whether he's a buyer or non-buyer. So I think you can very easily go to classify, go in the discriminant. Okay, click on it, take it in the status. Status is a grouping variable. You take it, 1 means buyer, 2 means non-buyer. Click on continue and click on the durability, light and low investment in the independence, go in statistics. And even you can just have them, if you don't want to this univariate ANOVA, you can, it is your wish, but okay, but we need to have the univariate ANOVA to see the correlation. Okay, in order to see the correlation, that is why I am taking the univariate ANOVA, as I mentioned you in the slides also. Continue and then going to classify all groups within and summary table. Click on continue and then you can okay. Once it is okay, now again I have to show you the output file. Let me show you the output file. Yes, so this is the output file of wool.sav. Now you can see here, this is the case processing summary as I shown you, and this is the buyer, non-buyer, durability, lightweight, low investment, rot resistance, and then we are going to see the box M. Okay, this box M value should be greater than 0.05. Please note down. Please note down that this, whenever you are going to see the whether the covariance exists or not, so you should know that the value of box M should be greater than 0.05. Like it is 0.23, so it's greater. So we can say that there is an equality of variance exist. Okay, if it is P greater than 0.05. Okay, and then we can see the eigenvalue. It is again 1.003, quite good, and Wilks lambda is 0.4, near to close to 0, and 1.800 plus 0.618 into durability plus minus 0.055 into lightweight minus 0.188 into low investment minus 0.157 into rot resistance. So this way you are able to find out the discriminant equation, and finally you can see the classification results out of that. And in this particular model, 83.3% of the original grouped cases are correctly classified. That is 8 and 7. 8 and 7 are left to diagonally, they are correctly classified, whereas 1 and 2 are not correctly classified by in the SPSS. So this is how you are going to perform the discriminant analysis. Any question you have, please, you are welcome to speak and welcome to ask. Yes, Madam Urvashi, can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Dr. Shailendra, sir.
Okay, Shailendra sir. This is what I have shown you, the demonstration of two examples of discriminant analysis, and I have shown you the PPT. I can share the PPT also with the